Hello and welcome to this edition of the Why I Like Mike podcast. I'm your host, Mason Gordon. Once again, I'm joined by Rushville's Mayor, Mike Pavey. How you doing, Mike?
Good. Still have the same, I call it now the campaign cold. Ever since campaign season started, I've had a cold.
Well, I thought you had kicked it, and then all of a sudden it's back
I
again.
did too. I was convinced 2 days ago that it was gone behind us, and then it reared its ugly head again. You are hitting on some fun topics tonight.
They don't call me Walter Cronkite for a reason.
The reason we put the bump outs in was really twofold, but they were simple. One was the bump outs eliminate parking in front of Wilkie Park and in front of the farmers market. So when a person drives through, they very easily can see those two, what I would consider attractions. It just goes to speak to the point that when the campaign flats was open and there were 7 units in there, the naysayer was saying there's no way you're ever going to fill 7 units in that building, and we did. And then now we have the Windsor, which people said you're never going to fill 7 units in there, and we're close to doing that. So I think it just goes to show that I think the easiest reaction most of the time is that negative reaction. You kind of got to work your way through it. The other thing that it's doing is those 14 units free up houses for younger people or other, people who want to move to the community, and it fills that void that's left by those, senior residents who have decided to move into, one of the newer units.
So your opponent's on the city council.
Yes.
I think there's this idea that maybe he's been against all this spending of money. So talk a little bit about what his stance has been on these investments we talked about tonight.
You bring up probably a point that I've been confused by the most out of this campaign, because when you look at the voting record, my opponent has voted with the alignment of this administration 99.6% of the time. That is 0.4% less than 100%. And when you compare his voting record to the rest of the council, he has voted with alignment with this administration more than any of the rest of the council. So it is perplexing to me of how you play both sides of that fence. How you come out and say, when people say, man, that's a great program, you say, well, yeah, it's a great program. We voted on it. It was a great thing. But when someone says, oh, by the way, man, I'm not sure I would have spent all that money, you say, yeah, I agree. Because ultimately what matters is, what did you vote for? And that's where I am the most, like I say, I'm the most confused out of the fact that I'm running against someone who sometimes appears to critique what we've done, but has voted for it. That's a little puzzling. And then when you say, well, what is the other direction we should have gone? What's your plan? I hear crickets. So that's where I'm sitting and waiting and trying to figure out exactly what's going on here, because I feel like the general public, it's almost like I will answer however I feel the person that I'm talking to wants me to answer. And I just don't know that does a whole lot of service to the voter.
So you're telling me that if he didn't believe in these projects, he had an opportunity to say no, but yet chose to say, yeah, let's do it.
If he didn't believe in the Cherry Street program, he would have voted no, I don't support Cherry Street. Mm-hmm. He would have voted that no, I don't want to go into right-of-way. I don't want to do eminent domain. I don't want to fund Stellar. I don't want to fund community crossings. Those are not votes that ever happened. Those votes happened, but they voted yes. Whatever those key items that the voters keying in on right now, those were all voted on. Mm-hmm. And he voted yes to every single one. So those are on the record. You can go back and take a look at them. And that is the record I stand on, and the record I think he should stand on. It's really tough when someone asks me, like on retail, they'll ask you, well, do you think we're going to get and they'll throw a name at you. The easiest answer is to look at somebody and say, yep, that's what we're going to do. We're going to get her. But the honest answer is to say, here are the tough things I have to tell you. It's kind of like being a parent. We all want to tell our kids exactly what they want to hear, but that's not responsible. I mean, it's just not a genuine situation. So what you got to do is you got to go out there and realize, I feel like I have done exactly what this community has asked me to do. I have done exactly what I said I would do. And that has integrity. That is honest. And most of all, that is the real transparent answer.